for third with Christopher Neal in front of Tim Lewis.
But it's been kind of a walk-away win right now, a walk-away lead for Vincent Jamelin.
Although, you know, he's obviously driving a little more conservative with only a couple of laps to go, and it has allowed Larry Noel to close the gap just a little bit, but he's still got a wide enough margin that he'll be okay. There is the Corvette with, looks like a flat right front tire.
That's Joey Moore, and he runs the only 6-cylinder car in this entire race. 1 lap to go now. Joey Moore in the Corvette. All the others are 4 cylinders, but he runs the Chevy V6 in that Corvette. So Vincent Jamelin, he's got the white flag behind him now, and a half a lap to go. And look at this.
Larry Noel.
He's trying to put some pressure on him. Oh my goodness, this could be a problem. Watch Noel. Watch Noel. He went around the problem, and Larry Noel, you wonder why he's got the lead on the Mickey Thompson circuit.
Well, we talk about lap traffic playing a factor, and here it is. The winner, Larry Noel. Take a look at Vince Jamelin. That's where he's going to finish this race.
Oh, he's all piggybacked right now. Unbelievable. I think that's Jim Smith that he's on top of. But open the door and let Larry Noel walk on in. As they work the rhythm section, and look at Noel climb up on the back of Vincent Jamelin. Maybe rough driving's going to want to look at that. And it is Brad Castle that's challenging the Porsche right off the top. And son of a gun, Brian Collins in that Porsche somehow brought that car back.
ELROD currently in 3rd place, but the lead continues to be in the lap of Larry Noel.
Then it's Tim Lewis in the Porsche, ELROD and Christopher Neal. Neal's getting a little ride on the back of ELROD there. And then here on the outside is the 16 of Brad Castle in the Toyota. Oh, and he sticks it inside, takes Christopher Neal, and holds the position.
Porsche seems to be having a lot of trouble maneuvering the curves where the Porsche seemed to be strong earlier in the heat race.
And again, that is the tire cut. In other words, they were not. Look at that. Look at that. They're spinning going down into this. Look at Christopher Neal up on the
man.
And he manages to drive through it. That is great. And here comes Smith right back. I mean, these guys are just driving into each other now. Rough driving may want to take a look at all this.
Meanwhile, it's still Larry Noel in the 88 car or truck that is still out in front. Hot on his heels, the number 4 truck of Tim Lewis.
But here is the battle on the race course. There goes a left front wheel off of Jim Smith's car, or pardon me, not Jim Smith's car, Brad Castle's car. And there's also one off of Christopher Neal's car. So all that banging got neither one of them much benefit, except that Castle's going to try and drive through.
The points champion from last year.
So there it is, the Nissan Pathfinder belonging to Christopher Neal, doing a great job of piloting that car. A group of 3 have broken away from the rest of the field, and in 2nd place is the Porsche of Brian Collins. He won heat race number 1 here earlier in the evening. A little bit of side slipping going on by Christopher Neal as he encounters the hydro barriers, and he's being chased pretty heavily, I'd say. There's a couple of guys that would love to take over his position.
Well, the gentleman in that number 1 Jeep that is challenging, there you see him in the 3rd position. Larry Noel was the winner here last year. However, he was not driving in a Jeep. And we could have it. Oh, he goes right up and over the hood of Brian Collins. An amazing bit of driving. Just drove right down the hood to Christopher Neal. And that will allow Larry Noel to close in a little bit and make it a 3-car battle for the lead.
And of course, Brian Collins with that rear-mounted Porsche engine, so basically he landed on nothing but fiberglass. But Brian Collins having a little bit of problems now. I can see there's a light on in his cockpit. He may be having problems.
They both go over.
We've got a dual flip, and we have got smoke coming out of the bottom of the Porsche of Brian Collins, and that was also number 1 Larry Noel, and it was almost like it was choreographed the way these two went over on their sides, and we've got a full course yellow. Well, this is where all the trouble took place. Now, Brian Collins already has smoke coming out of the back of that Porsche, but they tangle, they hook, they flip, and they fly.
They both go over together. As you see, Noel and Collins both ending up upside down in a very precarious position.
Main event in the American Racing Custom Wheels Sport Utility looked like Tommy Croft's event.
till about the 3/4 mark.
Tommy in the lead in his number 1 Jeep Cherokee, but watch what happens as he goes around this corner. He sees a stalled vehicle and says, oops, I've got to make a decision, and he makes the wrong move. He gets over into the very thick mud and gets stuck. Watch what happens. The number 23 of TJ Clark gets by. TJ, an instructor at the Bob Bondurant Racing School, wins his first main event in sport utility here at San Diego.
All right, this is the American Custom Racing Wheel Sport Utility Heat Race number 1. And we've got some hard hitters in this one. TJ Clark, a guy that's making his name quickly known on the Mickey Thompson Tour. He's out of Chandler, Arizona, and sits on the front row. Any thoughts, Ralph, before we get going?
Well, TJ showed that he can win on the dirt last week or at the last round at San Diego, and you got to figure that adrenaline's going with him, so he'll be fired up as we get underway here.
All right, this was a class that was initiated back in 1985, and it's here to stay. And you're seeing like Jeep Cherokees, Nissan Pathfinders, Toyota 4Runners. They're all represented here today as they go inside and outside. Choose your A lane, choose your B lane, but choose a lane and get to racing.
Well, Larry Noel used that inside line to move up through the field. He started on the second row and has been able to work himself right up behind TJ Clark. Now you're watching Larry Noel inside, and you can see from the bumper cam what he sees as he looks at the backside of TJ Clark. And look at him work from the inside of that cockpit. It's amazing all the stuff they have to do.
They've got a brake by hand, they've got a shift, they've got a clutch, they've got a brake, and it's unbelievable. It's like conducting an orchestra inside the cockpit. Heat race number 1, and as they always do, they split left and right, A and B lanes.
Yep, Noel's going to try him once more on that inside line, and it hasn't been that bad for him. TJ getting around on the top half, and it looks like Noel's getting a bit of an advantage this time, Mike.
They're going to go nose to nose, and look at this. Larry Noel has about a 1/4 of a length car lead right now, but would you look at TJ step in, and Larry says, back off, I'm going to take it. Checkered flag, Larry Noel. Heat race number 1. Look at inside. You're looking at the jubilation of a racer that wins the heat race in Seattle.
Down into TJ Clark's pit. TJ brought 50 youngsters from the cancer clinic here in Phoenix to the race tonight. That's one of the nice things that this young man has done. The biggest contribution he's done is take the liberty and the dangerous task of our Ralph Shaheen, as he is an instructor at the Bob Bondurant School. And Ralph, I know you're down there somewhere with TJ. I really want to hear the scoop on how you did at the Bob Bondurant School of Driving.
Well, Marty, I will let my instructor tell you all about that. But first of all, how do you take what you learn on the road course and apply it here to the dirt with all these jumps? Is it the same thing, TJ?
Well, Ralph, some of the techniques that we taught you at the school the other day are the same. The techniques that we learn at the school are the basics of driving a race car. But when you apply it to the dirt, it's a little bit different. There's a lot more to think about. There's a lot more going on in the car. But pretty much overall, the techniques work the same.
Well, now, you couldn't hear it, but my coach Marty back there wanted to know how I did at the school. And I got to tell you, first of all, I had a ball. But how did I do as a driver?
Well, you did pretty good there, Ralph. I think you got the basic techniques down. That part of it's real well. But I don't think Ivan Stewart's got too much to worry about just yet.
Bumper cam.
All right, we'll see that as we progress. Welchel zooms to the lead, and this just the opening moments of the first race, and we have a major spill back on the hydro barrier that draws the yellow. It was the sport utility of Jim Smith who did the pirouette. Now the yellow's waved off.
And then there's another pile up there. That looks like Tommy Croft that got hung up. No, it is Larry Noel.
Yeah. Well, in the heat race tonight in the American Custom Racing Wheel Sport Utility Division, some tough luck for Tim Lewis, Marty.
Well, Tim took the lead on the very first lap in his Jeep. There was the white flag coming out. He was leading Larry Noel and Tommy Croft. It was a 3-Jeep sweep at this point. But watch what happens as he gets up on the bicycle. Cannot save it. Just 2 turns from victory. And Tommy Croft goes on to take the heat race win.
All right, main event now in the American Racing Wheel Sport Utility. And it will be minus 1 competitor. If you were with us earlier in the broadcast, you know of the tremendous spill that was taken by Larry Noel, and he winds up going to a local hospital. So he is not in the main event.
And we do not have an update on his condition, although we have been told it is not serious. It has to do with the sternum area, as Mike Galloway reported. And we'll just wish the best. And his teammate, Tommy Croft, right there in the #1 Jeep, the red #1 in row #2, he'll be looking to make it 5 main event wins in a row in this class.
But keep your eye on Croft in row 2. 4 wins in a row for Croft in main events. The last 4 Mickey Thompson stops have been dominated by Tommy Croft and the Mike Leslie racing team of Jeeps. A bump to start, but they're off. And Neal remains in front with Lewis through turn #1. Now let's watch Christopher Neal. He is led in that last heat race. Christopher Neal led start to finish. And now bumping through, here comes Brian Collins.
Now Brian is from Las Vegas, so he's got a lot of hometown fans here cheering for him. Oh, and Chris Neal gets turned all the way around by Tim Lewis. The 2 of them get locked up, as does Jim Smith in the Ford.
What this allows is Brian Collins and Tommy Croft to zoom in front of the pack. Croft is looking like he's ready to make a move and is about to. In fact, Croft coming inside has assumed the lead. Well, that's the end of that. Croft making the move has now assumed the lead here through turn #2, or through lap #2.
Well, obviously from the top. Oh, and Brian Collins punches him out, and then the #3 further back goes up and over, continues to keep running of Tim Lewis. I think rough driving. You may see a penalty flag coming out here soon.
There it is. The penalty flag is out on Brian Collins.
Jumping out in front, car #4, truck #4, Christopher Neal, and closing in rapidly. Here come the 2 Jeeps.
Remember, Tommy Croft, currently in 2nd place, has won 5 main events in a row. Look out, trouble for Chris Neal. And guess who's going to be the big beneficiary? It is #1, Tommy Croft, over Brian Collins, and then Corey Witherall. Oh, Collins hits it nose heavy and gives up 3 positions. I'm amazed he's even got a spine left.
I like my seat a lot better, Marty.
No, it's a little bit safer. Noel takes over the position, at least momentarily. But Croft, I mean, he is... Oh, no, Larry Noel T-bones him. That is going to get a ruling from rough driving, I'm sure.
And coming up is Christopher Neal, trying to reclaim 2nd place. Remember, he's the driver who caused the first incident of the night.
Action battle back for 2nd place. It's a 4-car duel. These guys are banging off the hydro barriers, and now it is the #2 of Larry Noel who's moved back into 2nd place, but I'm still waiting to see, and I think he's going to be penalized here. Here comes Tommy Croft, 6 in a row with 1 race remaining. He wins the Drivers' Championship, and the manufacturer's crown is guaranteed again for Jeep.
Take a look at this. This is the battle for 2nd place. The #28 of Corey Witherall and the #2 of Larry Noel. They come to turn #5, and the pictures speak for themselves.
We're ready to go racing. The green flag flies, and heading through turn #1, Brian Collins, Chris Neal, side by side. And the Jeep, the #2 of Larry Noel, tries to take over 2nd place.
Christopher Neal, don't forget, is one of the only other 2 to have gotten a win on the tour so far this year. So he is a strong contender. And we've got 1 machine up on the hydro barriers as our cars sweep through. There you'll see him.
Yeah, that's Tim Lewis in the Jeep. He is up on the hydro barrier high-centered, so he's going to be sitting there for the remainder of this
race. Big problem for car #2.
Right now, Brian Collins sees nothing but red behind him in the 2 Jeeps. Tommy Croft and Larry Noel, and they get into each other.
And then into Collins, and they're going to spin him around. That could make the difference. They're going to force him right out of the picture.
Well, this is a contact sport. Sometimes rough driving will step in and say, too much contact. Well, Tommy Croft, your winner in American Racing Wheel Sport Utility.
Here's a look at the contact that took place in the hairpin between Brian Collins, Larry Noel, and Tommy Croft. Collins just gets hung out here in the white Porsche as Croft and Noel go to work on him. He gets hammered from all angles, gets pushed out wide, and goes from 1st to 3rd in 1 quick corner. We'll take one look at it from another angle. As you can see, the number 2 machine of Larry Noel got crossed up coming off the jump. That put him into the side of Collins. And here comes Tommy Croft. He gets inside, muscles his way through, and takes the lead by a quarter panel.
There you see Gayton, and now behind them, here comes Sergeant Tommy Croft and TJ Clark. Now, Clark is in 3rd place, and he is battling with the defending series champion, and Croft looking for his 8th straight. Oh, and there goes TJ Clark over, and he gets back on all 4 wheels and continues to run, Walker. But he has lost a right front wheel, so I think that will slow him down. I do too. Racing Wheels Sport Utility Heat Race. It was a true driver race between Brad Person of Peoria, Arizona, and San Diego's Tommy Croft. Person started on the front row and would stay there until the very last lap. Croft, meanwhile, had to work his way around 2 other drivers. He got past Robert Gayton early, and with just a couple of laps remaining, got past Jack Millard for 2nd place. Then it came down to a last lap shootout, and heading into turn number 5, Croft was right on Person's back bumper. Person made one small mistake, opening the door, and Tommy Croft, who started his march last year to the American Racing Wheels Sport Utility Championship crown at this very same Seattle event, got around and took the checkered flag for the win. We're underway. 8 laps of racing down into the A-B lanes, and already TJ Clark hanging up Brad Person and Ken Hodgson, and Hodgson's high-centered on the hydro barrier. This could be the end of the race for Mr. Hodgson. It has allowed Robert Gayton to take the early lead. And you see right there, high-centered over the hydro barrier. That's the number 11 of Ken Hodgson. So the crew members will try and get him off of that. We'll pick up the action as Tommy Croft is trying to force the issue down on the backstretch.
Well, Ken just made a very bad move. They pushed him back, and he drove right back to the same position.
And now the safety crew is going to have to get out of the way, because here comes TJ Clark. And oh, Clark doesn't see that he needs to go the other way. And it may cost him if Gayton can get quickly through the B lane, but I think Clark's going to survive it.
Well, he certainly is if he can negotiate this turn. He made it, so he's got about a half a car length.
All right, which lane is faster to you, the A or the B lane?
Well, I would think the B lane at the moment, especially with this car in the way down here. But Clark did come out on top.
Clark is holding off Robert Gayton. Gayton tears off a banner as he goes up against the hydro barrier, the Triton barrier. Down through sweeping turn number 6. Here comes TJ Clark. 6 laps to go. He's got the lead by about 2 car lengths over Robert Gayton. Jack Millard has moved up to 3rd. Tommy Croft has dropped all the way back to 5th place.
Well, he certainly has, but look at this. TJ Clark, now we're going to find out the barrier, which lane is the quickest. TJ took a different one. He's getting passed in the midair right here.
Yeah, but it was the way he came off the corner. It wasn't. He came through the turn 4 area at first, but he didn't get off the corner very cleanly.
Well, lane A allows you to get off that turn fast, and got through there and made that pass.
Well, these guys are going side by side through turn number 6. That's TJ Clark in the 23, the 77 of Robert Gayton. Gayton now 2nd. He's going to try and duck under. No. Clark takes the A lane. Gayton will take the B. While this is going on, we'll just tell you Jack Millard is still 3rd, and 4th is Tommy Croft. 5th is Brad Person. At the exit to the A-B lanes in turn 4. Oh, Clark gets on the side and almost goes over and manages to hold the lead.
I can't believe it. I mean, the car was on the door handle and it came back up.
You were never that lucky, were you?
No, it always was wheels up for me.
Coming through turn number 6 one more time. This will be the halfway mark of this race. 4 laps remaining. TJ Clark in the board. Robert Gayton right behind him. Gayton in the Mazda. And they're going to be coming up on Ken Hodgson pretty soon. Lap traffic could play a factor here, Walker. TJ Clark still in control. The 31-year-old from Chandler, Arizona. He is an instructor in a race driver school. Right now, he's teaching the course in the American Racing Wheels Sport Utility, the white flag lap. Tommy Croft putting some pressure on. He can move into 2nd place behind TJ here, because Ken Hodgson's going to slow up Robert Gayton. Croft and Gayton are side by side. Oh, and Gayton gets a little high-centered for a moment on the jumps, but he comes down in 3rd place. Croft with a couple turns remaining. Oh, and Gayton gets right into Croft, and that may be rough driving.
I'm telling you, we've got a heck of a race here. Look at here. You can throw a blanket over them all, and they're on the last lap.
What do you think? Do you think Gayton got into him? Do you think he's going to be penalized?
I don't think it'll happen, no.
TJ Clark, the winner. Gayton 2nd. Croft 3rd. Person 4th. Woo! catch your breath. That was a great race in the American Racing Wheels Sport Utility. Starter Bill Rickey has the flag in hand, and we're underway. Main event action, American Racing Custom Wheels Sport Utilities. Who's going to have the lead down into turn number 2? It's the number 41 of Rick Scalzo. Robert Gayton right behind him. In fact, Gayton gets together with Scalzo as they head for turn 4. Scalzo has the inside line. Gayton getting hung out to dry. Here comes TJ Clark in third. Right on top of him, riding piggyback. And we've got Scalzo going over. And new leader has Scalzo literally right in the middle of the track. Now they've split the A and the B lanes. TJ Clark took the A lane, Gayton took the B. Who's going to come out on top? It's going to be TJ Clark, Robert Gayton in second.
And there goes Tommy Croft. He's into third place.
Croft has moved into third as Gayton closes on TJ Clark. There you get to see the first 4. That's Gayton following TJ Clark, and then there in third place is Tommy Croft, Brad Person in fourth. It is really starting to tighten up, and here comes Tommy Croft putting pressure on TJ Clark. Whoa, Gayton gets sideways and almost rolls it over. All right, Gayton takes the A lane, TJ takes the B lane. And Tommy Croft follows our leader, Robert Gayton. So Gayton has got Tommy Croft now in second place right behind him. So bad move for TJ Clark as it didn't pay off going to the B side. Oh, and Gayton gets up on the bicycle.
Yep. And just put Tommy in an ideal spot. All he has to do is just stay there.
I'll tell you what, it doesn't matter where Tommy Croft starts on the grid. Sooner or later, you're going to have to deal with him up front.
Well, that's why he's been champion for, what, 3 years in a row or something?
I'll tell you, he is just an incredible driver here in the American Racing Custom Wheel Sport Utility category. Oh, and Robert Gayton has rolled it over back on the uphill portion, just before you get to the uphill portion as you head out onto the backside. So what started out as a very promising race for Robert Gayton has turned into an upside-down disaster. Is closing on him. What do you think's going on?
Well, I'll tell you, Gayton's on the gas. His car's working, and Tommy Croft better look out. He's going to have himself a race right now.
4 laps remaining, and Gayton is right up on his back doorstep. Now, there are no mirrors on these cars. Oh, no, Gayton with a tremendous endo.
Turn left, Gayton.
Way to go, Coach. Good Lord. And that he doesn't even lose a position, folks. Let's go back and take a look at this, Walker. Take us through it.
Well, Gayton just came off of there just a little bit too eager, and I'll tell you, he didn't quite get across the bump. The bumper caught, and a complete endo. The front end bouncing back up. Gayton still trying to gather his bearings here.